Okay. Oh, you actually got it. Thank you. So, I wanted to start off, circling a chair apparently, talking about a couple things that I've come up with just recently. So bear with me, I have them written down. And if they're bad jokes, I'm gonna fire my assistant because he came up with them. Chill out. Okay, so these are, you might be a college student if you buy something and you think to yourself, how much ramen would this buy me? You might be a college student. If you refer to your house as the place where the money comes from, you might be a college student. If you have an entire extensive zombie apocalypse plan, but not a grad plan, you're definitely a college student. If you spend more money on textbooks than clothes, shelter, and food combined, you're definitely a college student. If sleep falls into the same category as Dungeons, Dragons, Tooth Fairies, and honest politicians, you might be a college student. And if you go on a 15-hour coma, you also might be a college student. If brushing your teeth means rinsing for 15 seconds with Listerine, apparently some of you have done this. It's not good, I'm just saying. The same goes is if you think taking a shower is applying deodorant. You're wrong. Oh wait, I can't tell that one. No. If you shave more often than you sleep, you might be a college student. Okay, apparently that wasn't funny. A lot of the guys are like, my sideburns look great, shut up. If an easy homework assignment only takes 3 hours to complete, you might be a college student. And finally, if you start that easy homework assignment 3 hours and 5 minutes before it's due, you're definitely a college student. So that's it for that. Now on to the funny stuff. So just a quick question. How many of you were here last show that we did a couple weeks ago? Perfect. Okay, so I was actually on the phone a couple weeks ago with the place where all the money comes from. Okay, I'm glad you guys got that. And I was talking to my mom and I'm thinking, okay, this is a nice conversation, Mom, when's it gonna end? And then it got awkward for a couple seconds and she asked, what are your plans for this weekend? It was weird because I was like, isn't that what the guy is supposed to ask the girl on a date? And it was weird, so I was talking to my mom and I'm sitting there thinking, I actually have a date for this weekend, but I didn't want to tell her. Because just a little background to my family, I was thinking about it and, you know, before my mission, she always told me, stay away from women, they're like a plague, don't touch them. It'll throw you off on your mission, I don't know. And so I dealt with it. It was like a kid going to the store and wanting that special box of cereal and he grabs it and he puts it in the cart and he's like, Mom, can we get the Fruity Pebbles? And she just stands there, she's like, no, put it back. And so I put it back and then I'd grab the box again and she slapped my hand and that's how it went for like 19 years. And so finally I get back from my mission and I'm like, wow. This feels great. I can go on dates now. I felt like the bee's knees. Which, apparently for those of you who don't understand, feels a lot like awesomeness. And so I'm going through my mind, do I tell her, do I not tell her? And I was like, you know, I'm kind of proud of the fact I got a date, because this always gets a date, ladies. So I'm sitting there, and I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna tell her. And I get up, puff out my chest like a man, and I tell her in my manliest voice, I got a date, Mom. No, it actually sounded like normal. And so, it was just dead silent after that. For like 30 seconds. Which feels a lot like an eternity. And so I'm going through my mind, I'm like, okay, you can say something now. And then my sister yells up in the background. My sister's name is Katie. Hi, Katie. She's not here right now. That's a video recording joke, if you guys don't get it. So anyway, she pipes up in the background and she's like, "He got a date?" As if to say, if this were the apocalypse and there were no other guys, I would not get a date even in that situation. And so I'm like, okay, that's fine, you got a low blow on me. And then 30 seconds go by with another awkward silence. She's like, my sister is like, "You got a date with a girl?" I'm like, "No, Caitlin, I had a date with my Xbox." Which unfortunately is how it turned out because she stood me up. Yeah. Needless to say, I went out and played one of my favorite games. And I was sitting there and I played Assassin's Creed. Yeah. Okay. Anybody else? Yeah. There we go. Okay, that's the response I'm looking for because if nobody does it, nobody's gonna get this joke. So anyway, I'm sitting there and I wanted to celebrate the fact that I was not gonna go out with this, oh wait, I can't say that either. And so,
Young lady.
okay, young lady, I'll take that. And so I'm sitting there, and after I play this game, I just feel this incredible rush to go running around and jumping off buildings. And so I put on my hoodie and I go out there and I'm just like, okay, I got this. And I got like 20 feet, and then I started to sound like Darth Vader, just, I can't breathe. Which, for me, 20 feet is a lot. I mean, normally when I go out and I run, I forget things. Like, I can't run. So, I'm sitting there, and I've got my hood, and I decide to get on this building. And bear with me for a second, let's see how this goes. And I get up there, and I just sit there like this. I've got my hood on. I should have thought that out. Okay. It hasn't fallen off yet, so I'm good. So I'm sitting there, and then it dawns on me, and I hear it, and it sounds cool. So I'm like, I got this. And I see a bale of hay out in the corner. I'm like, okay. Wow, I didn't cause an earthquake either. And so I jump on what I thought was a bale of hay, but as it turned out, it was this Idaho girl who used a lot of hairspray to get like her hair way out of here. I didn't know that. So I landed on her and she's out cold. And I'm thinking to myself, uh-oh. And then often like the corner of my eye, I see the smart car cops coming by. Which, just a quick question, how are they supposed to arrest you in that situation? There's no room in those cars. And so I'm thinking, okay, I'm just gonna do it like Assassin's Creed. So I quickly run over to the nearest bench and just sit there like this. And the cops drive right by and they didn't even notice. The girl's sitting right there next to me, like pointing at me. And I'm just like, I got this. And so, one other thing before I finish, this is just something that happened to me this last week. Quick word of advice for the guys. Don't hold the door open at Devo. I'm just gonna let that sink in for a little bit. Take your time. Okay, apparently nobody got that joke. So anyway, I'm sitting there holding the door open, and I figured, you know, while I'm holding the door open, I'll just call my friend and see where he's at to like hang out with him at Devo and sit with him. So I got the door open, and I think in my mind, there's only gonna be like 5-10 people that I'm holding the door open for. That's a lie. So I'm sitting there, I get on my phone, call up my friend, he tells me, okay, I'm in a certain spot. And I was like, okay, I'll be there in like 2 seconds. I'm just gonna close the door. And right when I hang up, 400 people just come screaming through. I'm like, where did you guys come from? And so during this entire time, I was able to check my Facebook. I was able to create a Twitter account, update that Twitter account, and it says, holding the door open at Devo, #TrueGentleman. And then I get this guy coming by, and I was like, man, there's a lot of people. Where did you all come from? And this guy comes up to me, and he's like, when a mommy and a daddy really love each other, that's where people come from. Hello? Apparently that wasn't funny either. So he's coming by, and then another guy looks at me, and normally I don't get this, but a lot of the people apparently were here at the last show like you guys were, and the guy from afar is just like trying to figure out who I was, because he was in this long line apparently, and he found out and he was like, hey, it's you! I'm like, I don't know your name. What's going on here? And he came up to me and he was like, you're that dude. I'm like, yeah, I guess I am. He's like, Spirit of Riggs. Yes! Like, oh, that guy! I am! And he was like, okay, I get it now. And then I shut the door in his face and left. Because I didn't know him. That's my time, guys. Thanks.